Hello and welcome to the Run Testers. My name's Nick.
And my name's Tom.
And in this video we're going to be comparing the Saucony Triumph 20 and the Nike Invincible 2. Start with the key stats of the shoe. They're both pretty expensive, but the Invincible is the slightly pricier shoe. It costs £165 in the UK or $180 in the US, whereas the Triumph is £155 in the UK or $160 in the US. The Triumph has a 10mm drop from heel to toe, whereas the Invincible I think is a 9mm drop, although Nike never confirms anything too exactly. The Invincible is the slightly heavier shoe. It's 303 grams or 10.7 ounces in a UK size 9, whereas the Triumph is 292 grams or 10.3 ounces. The Invincible is pretty similar all round to the original version of the shoe. You've basically got a bit more foam to create a slightly softer feel underfoot and a slightly lighter upper. It is a Flyknit upper, and you've got a fair bit of padding around the collar and tongue there, as you'd expect from a big plush cushion shoe like this. The midsole is of course made from ZoomX, Nike's best foam, very soft, springy, lovely stuff. The same kind of foam that you find in the Alphafly and Vaporfly, but there's no carbon plate here, so you get a really soft, bouncy feeling underfoot. And then you've got a heel clip that runs around the back of the shoe to try and create some stability with all that soft foam underfoot. For the same reason, you've got a very wide base to the shoe, again, with Nike worrying about stability given the soft midsole material. You've got a full waffle outsole on the Nike, so there's not really any exposed foam to worry about there. The Triumph has a breathable mesh upper, a lot of padding again around the heel and the collar on the shoe, and it's quite firm plastic clip built into the upper at the back there to create stability at the heel. You've got a Power Run Plus midsole and a Power Run Plus sock liner on it as well, and it's similar to basically to the setup on the previous Triumph models, but the foam has been tweaked to be lighter and softer, just a bit more fun basically all round, and the shoe has dropped quite a lot in weight as a result. So you've also got more of a rocker profile on the newer Triumph to try and create a nice smooth motion from heel to toe during your runs. You don't get a full rubber outsole on the shoe, but as you can see, there's really good coverage in all the key impact areas around the shoe, and I wouldn't really have any worries about durability on the kind of small amounts of exposed foam you have there. All right, I've got Tom back now, and we are talking about the fit of the shoes. Tom, do these shoes fit your feet?
These two shoes do indeed fit my feet very well. I'd say both of them are true to size. I find them very comfortable, and I definitely wouldn't size up or down in either of them.
Fair enough. I would say the same actually, yeah. I've really enjoyed using both of them, very much true to size. Nike can be a bit funny for me. I tend to go up and down a bit in Nike shoes, but Invincible was bang on in my normal size. A good amount of room in the toe box, all fine, no slipping or anything. So on to the run test then, Tom. These are two kind of max cushion, premium cushion shoes built for a similar purpose, but they feel pretty different on the run, it's fair to say.
Definitely, yeah. I don't think we've made any secrets about our love of the Invincible in over the past year. I think the Invincible, it's got that ZoomX foam in. It is a shoe that really makes easy runs enjoyable. It just feels bouncy. When you get to those later miles of a run, it just feels like you're so comfortable. It's protecting your legs, it's protecting your knees, and every time I do a run in these, regardless of how long it is, my legs feel fresh and great. But I think that's what the shoe is limited to. I think it's a shoe that's made for those easier runs, and it's just made to be just unbelievably comfortable. I think the Triumph 20, it's got a bit more to it than that. I think it's definitely, when compared to its predecessors, it's a shoe that's a bit more versatile. I've been doing a lot of marathon training in the Triumph 20 recently, and that's covered all sorts of runs. So I've been using it from recovery runs all the way up to sort of marathon paced shorter efforts and things like that. And it just, I think it's a fantastic shoe for a lot of different distances and types of run. It still has all that cushioning and a really nice level of cushioning that you get with the Invincible. Not as bouncy, not as soft, but I find that when I'm training in this shoe, I can go a bit faster, and it feels like it can handle it. It's not a speed shoe by any stretch of the imagination, but it just has a bit more versatility, which is why I think this is a good shoe if you're somebody whose you want one shoe, your main focus is cushioning and comfort, and you want to race in it as well. I think this is a good option for that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've said before on the channel that I've been a big fan of the Triumph line for ages. Like, my first kind of shoe I used a lot of was the Triumph ISO 2, and it's got a ridiculous numbering system where it went 2, 3, 4, 5, 17 because of the way they use the ISO fit lacing system. But other than that, I've always liked it for those reasons. That it is a cushion shoe, it's a cruising shoe that's great for easy runs, and that's what it's built for, but it is more versatile than most cushion shoes. And I did my kind of first half marathon races in it, and it's, I think, a really good marathon racing shoe for first timers and that kind of thing. And yeah, the last few versions just got a bit heavy and a bit dull, and they've changed the foam here to make it lighter, softer, a bit kind of more exciting underfoot, and it just creates a better ride. It's not as, as interesting, as an enjoyable ride as the Invincible, but this big ZoomX platform is fantastic. It's it's the good stuff. It's the best foam in Nike's range. It's not the recycled version, and it's really is squishy and fun. And this week, when I had no shoes to test and I'm on a bit of a down week and I had a couple of easy runs, perfect. I instinctively reach for the Invincible. It's like the most enjoyable shoe to do those kind of runs in. It's very fun. It's very protective. It's great for long mileage weeks. I think it's got a bit of versatility. Like, I've done some progression runs in it where I finished reasonably quick paces, and it is okay for them. But yeah, I would agree that the Triumph is a bit more versatile. It's not a harsh or unpleasantly hard base, but it's a firmer base than the Invincible, which is like nearly all shoes, and that does give it a bit more responsiveness, a bit more stability as well, for sure, when you're running fast, and does mean you can use it for a greater variety of runs. I don't want to overstate its versatility, I guess. I think for a lot of runners, it would still very much be the kind of easy day shoe, the base training shoe in your rotation, and I would prefer to use a faster trainer alongside it. But if you are more of a one shoe runner or a newer runner, then it has the versatility to do all kinds of runs, whereas the Invincible really does stick to that role, I think, more as an easy day cruiser.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think the other thing as well that I find with the two shoes is the Invincible, it gets a lot from that ZoomX foam. Like, it feels like you're bouncing each time, as you'd expect from the same foam that you're getting from things like the Vaporfly and the Alphafly. But I think there's a better rolling motion in the Triumph 20. It just feels like there's a nicer, smoother turnover for me, and I can really get a nice pace going. Whereas the Invincible, I feel it halts me a bit because it's got all that cushioning. It just isn't really rolling me forward. It's more just like bouncing me along. So I prefer the Triumph 20 for that. And I definitely, in the marathon training that I've been doing, a lot of the runs, not necessarily at marathon pace, but they're not at easy pace either. So I'll always go for the Triumph 20 for those runs. But as you say, the easy runs, Invincible's probably my go-to for those.
They kind of talk about the new rocker design on the Triumph 20, which I haven't really felt that much on the run. I think compared to the speed roll rocker in things like the Endorphin range, I really noticed that. This is a much more subtle one, it's fair to say. But yeah, you do get slightly smoother kind of transition, whereas Invincible is a bit more, you go into that foam and you spring off, and if you're mooching along, it's great. But once you do push the pace in it, I think it feels a little bit undirected, that foam, in that you squish into it and then it's kind of it could go, anything could happen. But it's not got a plate in there sending you forward. So yeah, do agree on that front. I think the outsoles, have both been pretty good for me. I think it's interesting, Saucony stripped the outsole back a little bit on the latest version to reduce the weight, but there's still clearly really good coverage on the shoes, no problems there at all. And this waffle tread from Nike, I think, probably wears down slightly quicker, but at the same time, I've used Invincibles for a few hundred K the last two versions, and I've had no problems on durability.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, I think these are both two shoes that are going to be in rotation for a while.
All right, on to the verdict. Two of our favourite cushion shoes out there right now, probably my top three, both of them. But what would you pick as your favourite, Tom?
It's a tough one. I would say that I love the Invincible. I think it's a fantastic, enjoyable shoe, and it's got such a fantastic place in a rotation because it just makes all of those easy runs more enjoyable. But I do think in some ways I feel it's a little bit of a novelty shoe, and also it's not really, I wouldn't say it's an essential shoe. I'd say if you've got a rotation, I'd probably have this as like the fourth shoe in my rotation or something, just because I think there's just better options out there if you've only got three shoes. So I think for me, the Triumph 20 wins it for me. It can just do more stuff for me. And I even though I enjoyed the comfort and the cushioning of the Invincible more, I think I get more out of the Triumph 20, and I definitely reach for this. If I was going on holiday and had one pair of shoes to take and I was doing easy runs every day, I'd take the Triumph 20 over the Invincible.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I think I'd probably come at it slightly differently. I think the Triumph is the more versatile shoe, but it isn't versatile enough for me that I'd be a shoe I'd ever pick as an all-rounder or even like a holiday shoe. So it would still, for me, only ever go in a rotation as an easy day shoe, I think, even though it has got a bit more versatility than the Invincible. And if it comes to purely picking between them over which I enjoy more for easy runs, I would go for the Invincible. I think in terms of that, their main job, the Invincible is more exciting, it's more fun to use. It's more, more enjoyable, more squishy, more bouncy. I like the look of it more. I like walking around a lot in the shoe as well. So yeah, I think I would give the nod to the Invincible just because I probably would only review either of these shoes as part of a 3 or 4 shoe rotation, like you say. And I just have this as, my pure daily training, easy base run shoe that I can enjoy, bouncing around in. Whereas the Triumph is great. It's good for those runs as well, but it's not quite as enjoyable. So I'd probably, would look at it like that.
How much has Jane paid you to say that?
She doesn't pay me anything, but she is just out of shot. She's looking particularly threatening right now. So the Invincible's great.
Nice.
I would say though on the Invincible, definitely try and find a deal on the previous version because it's such a similar shoe, and there's a really nice blue colorway of the previous version that is going for a song in some places. Whereas I think with the Triumph, I would definitely get the newest version. I think it's a lot better than the last 2. I'd look at that.
Well, I didn't have as big an issue with the previous. I actually quite enjoyed running in the 19, and I do think what's the price of the Triumph? It's quite a lot, isn't it?
It's quite a lot. It's not as much the Invincible, but it's a lot.
It's a lot of money. So I'd still probably, depending on what you're using it for, I think the Triumph 20 is the best one that you can get. But if you can get the Triumph 19 significantly cheaper and you really are only using it for easy day runs and things like that, I probably would say go for that one just because it's quite expensive what you're getting from it. But
That's true. The new one is a fair bit lighter, so he probably does make it more versatile. But yes, if you are using it for easy runs, probably the previous version will be okay. Yeah. But I didn't like it very much, so get the new one. All right, that's it, guys. That's our comparison of these 2 big old cushion shoes. What do you think of them? Let us know in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, ring the little bell. Have you got a podcast coming out, Tom?
Well, by the time this goes up, it will probably be out. So
That's true.
At the end of every month, we have a new podcast. So if you want to listen to the podcast, and it's fantastic if you like running facts, head into the captions below and you can find your podcast provider of choice.
Yeah, because I'm editing this one and I might forget to do that, in which case, just look around, you'll find it. See you later.